Okay, y'all, I'm about to do a sew in. So first, I braided her hair. I want to sew in. This is the hair we're using. The Organics Master Mix Special Deep Part Closure. She wants like a part through the middle just like her. And she wants it like hers. And it's like light brown color. And it's ombre. Dark at the top and light at the bottom. And the hair is safe for curling iron up to 400 degrees. What I did was I parted her hair into two sections, and I braided it into two ponytails. So let me show y'all. Put your hair back some. This is the way the braids look. The middle is like a part, and then it's just going like two ponytails. I braided into two ponytails, and then I just kind of zigzag the ponytails down as flat as possible. You want to braid it as flat as possible. It only took about 30 minutes to do. So what I'm going to do now is secure her braids down, her two braids down with thread. And it comes in 18, 20 inch, 22 all together. So the bottom one, I assume, is the shortest one. This one on the end, because the way they have it lined up. So it's 22, 20, then 18. The way it's, you can take them out though and kind of measure them and see. But I think the shortest one is this one on the top, because the one on the top is the one with the brown, with the black that kind of matches the closure. And most people would put that on the top. So what I did was, when I went to the Beauty Depot off of Moreland, I bought 2 spools of thread, and I bought 2 needles, just in case, 2 curved needles, just in case one needle is lost or broke, or in case she wants to help me thread the needle. She can, to make it faster, she can thread some of the needles, one of the needles, while I have while I'm using one needle to make it faster. She can put the thread through. So first off, I'm gonna start by threading the first needle. It's a curved needle, and it makes it easier for the thread to go through the hair. I can't wait, baby. You want to try to cut the end where there's no hairs hanging out, because if there are, it's going to be harder for the needle, the thread, to go through the needle. I double my thread because it makes the weaves last longer. I've been having way better results with the thread being doubled. I used to not double the thread, but it's way better. The customers have been more satisfied with the double thread. And it lasts longer. One string just, double thread, it just enforces it and everything. That one little string thing, it just ain't what's happening. So first I'm going to just start off by securing her 2 braids down. So what you want to do is you want to hide these 2 ends inside and just sew them down. Turn your head to the side for me.
Right here?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
When you sew it, you want to pull the needle through the hole to make a lock, to lock it down. there's different ways to sew the hair down. There's about 4 or 5 different types of knots you can use. This by far is my favorite and the quickest. This is the one I mostly use. But there are different ways to sew, to lock the thread on. There are about 4 or 5 different ways. I will probably show y'all that later. The other ways. But right now, trying to get her done. The braiding was fairly quick. So hopefully the rest of it is quick. So she can be done. And the best thing with customers, you want to get them out of the chair as quick as possible. At the end of the braid, when you're sewing it down, you want to secure it. Make sure. Go over it a few times just to make sure that the braid is locked down good and secure. And remember, you know, where you hid the braid, or if the customer, you don't know if they're going to come to you to take it down, tell them where you hid the braid so that when they get ready to take it down, they know where you hid their braid at. Because that can make it harder for them to take it down. I haven't had any problems with that, but you never know. Somebody could, you know, not know. So this just locks it in when you loop it. And you want to make sure when you get to the end, you just keep looping it down 2 or 3 times. The reason I braided her hair in the 2 ponytails was to ensure it's more flatter. Her weave is flatter. Her hair is like almost shoulder length, so 2 circles was appropriate. Now, when their hair is really long, you may have to do 4 circles. Or if their hair is shorter than shoulder length, you could just probably do like, you don't even have to do a circle. You can do like little designs and stuff. Just as long as it's flat. You don't have, you can have the braids all over the place. But if you have a part down the middle, just leave the part there. And you can braid it all kinds of ways. Circles, around the zigzags, you know. However. So, now that I've locked her braids down, I'm going to sew the weave on. The extensions on. The way I like to sew the extension on, the first track, you want to have it under the, get this thread through here. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. If it's a customer that's paying and they have hand problems, then you might not want to ask them. But like if you have friends you're working on and stuff like that, it's nothing wrong with asking them, well, here you go, can you please help me thread these needles to get done, you know? Mm-hmm. Some people have like a bucket full of needles already threaded, but if that bucket falls over, you just got a big mess. So it's best to just be careful with that. You thread this for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just pull the thread through for me, through the hole at least. That's the main thing. Because sometimes just taking the time out to try to get that needle through the hole can be time consuming. And I don't make the thread no longer than an arm's length, because when you try to pull it tight, what ends up happening is the thread will hold on. Yeah, when you try to pull it tight, it will hurt your arm. So I try not to go over like an arm's length like that. When I pull it, I try to make it about as long as the arm's length. So when I stretch my arm out, it's like easier to pull it tight. Because if it's any longer than that, it can be stressful on you. Okay, so this is how it looks in the pack. Very beautiful. That's the closure. It comes with a closure. This is so cool. Nowadays they have lace closures inside. And this is around, with everything, with the needles and everything, taxes, it was $37 for the hair. and all the tools. So the longest piece of hair is this one, the one next to the closure. You can tell, you can always measure it next to the other pieces, but you can tell because this goes right under the closure. You can tell because this part is dark. It's ombre. These 2 packs of hair, they're not on. The last 2 bundles are not ombre. So I'm going to take the longest and put it on her edge because she's getting this for length. So.
Damn.
And nothing wrong with getting you a little wig brush or something like that. Sometimes when I'm first doing it, when I do that first track, I'll double them underneath the first one. You don't have to, but you can do it single to make it really, really like how you want it. But let me show you. That's fine. Hold on to it for me. Okay. This is what you want to do. Since her part is right here, and that's where the closure is going to be, you want to have her hair sewed in, coming from right there, going all the way around to the middle. See, her part is right there. So I'm going to start this her track right there, and the closure is going to fall on top of that.
You going to put some black into it?
I've been doing this ever since I had my daughter. Before I had my baby, actually. That's why I really can't count. It's been so long. I've been doing hair for so long. Before I had my daughter, I was doing hair. Because when I was younger, I was in foster care. And it's like, if you didn't do it yourself, it didn't get done, you know. And all we had was each other, you know. And we taught each other what we could. The first thing I started out with was those individual braids. But be careful. Try not to poke the client in the eye. that like what just happened. The needle just fly away. Try to hold on to the needle the best you can. Okay. So when I first put it on, like I told you, remember that loop knot. Make sure that you pull the needle back through the hole to create like a knot. To lock her hair in. When you first start the track, you want to do that 3 or 4 times to ensure the track is securely down. You don't want to just put it on there and not secure the end of the track, especially when you double the track. You want to make sure it's secure. In that first track, sometimes I will stick, when I first put the track down, I will stick the needle through the track, like this part of the track, just to make sure that it's locked into the track. And you want to make sure you go over that 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, 5 times, right there where you first start at, y'all. Because you don't want, that's the worst thing that can happen, is the track just comes out. People get mad. And some people would tell me my sewings would last them 2 and 3 and 4 months. One lady, she just had them really long. I forgot who she was, and she came back and she said her hair grew. So what I do really does last you. I'm not recommending that you keep it in that long, but honestly speaking, I read this book at school. If you have the good hair, you can leave your sewing in up to 6 months. This is according to the book. This is considered braiding. People are trying to save money. I don't recommend it because it may like tangle up. If you do leave it in that long, I recommend you keep it greased, you know, so that it doesn't gnat up, you know, or get too dry. That's a lot of people's problem. They let their hair dry up. So I'm just keep going over that beginning part. That's what I'm doing, just to make sure that track is down. Because if you get the beginning right, if you accidentally sew anything else like that you're doing a little looser, it's not gonna, the track's at least not gonna fall out, you know. The track's not gonna fall out because this part is down tight. So if you accidentally just say, you know, I want to hurry up, I'm gonna skip over fast, you ain't gotta worry about the tracks falling out if you got the ends secure. The ends are so important. You want to make sure you have those ends secure, and just keep going over them, because you don't want people to go swimming and do things and the ends slip out. Because some of these people don't know how to refix it. Some people do, but some don't, and you don't want to do that. You want to try to put the track under the first braid. When you first do it, the first track. You want to try to sew it so that it's falling underneath the braid so that when you flip the track back, it looks like her hair and she can pull it in a ponytail. You get it down as tight as possible, but some people are tender-headed, so you don't want to do the braids too tight because it's pulling on top of pulling. It's braids and then you're pulling her hair. That's why I didn't do the braids too tight. They're tight, but they're not super tight. Because what ends up happening is the you got to remember you're pulling the person's hair over. Like, you're not only pulling these tracks in, you're pulling. I mean, you're not only braiding and pulling, but you're pulling when you put these tracks in. Depending on what type of closure you have, it's depending on when you sew the closure on. This closure has a part on it, so I'm not going to sew the closure on in the beginning or in the middle. I'm going to sew the closure on closer to the end. Sometimes I will sew it on when it's just a circle closure before the end. But this one has a part on it. And you can also cut her part to fit right up in there. And you just put it in there and you pull it tight. And I've gotten a lot of people that were very happy. Extremely happy with this. Yeah. They're very happy with the sewings that I've had, and people have told me their hair grows. They leave it in as long as they want, you know. Only problem that I ran into is if the person buys the wrong hair, and it knats up. Now that's not an issue that I created. Sometimes it's the hair, you know. And I'm not saying that cheap hair doesn't work right. There's nothing wrong with buying cheap hair because nowadays, like, you can curl the hair and everything. It's just as good as the other hair. You know, especially for like a dancer or certain people in these lifestyles that aren't even going to wear it long. They just want the style. You don't have to buy the most expensive hair. Nobody knows. You can tell people that it's something that it's not. That's between you and the stylist. You can pretend like you got the Brazilian hair. Nobody knows. If the hair can take heat, nobody would know. The hair can take up to 400 in heat. That's about the amount of heat that real hair. That's the amount of heat that real hair takes. You can't go over 400 in heat on real hair. You're not supposed to be. You burn the hair all up. So, yeah. And then from when I secured this braid down, these little strings, you want to make sure you cut these little strings. Any little strings. You don't want those hanging up either, you guys. And whenever you end something, like say right here, it's to the point where I can't really sew no more. You want to do the same thing I did when I started. You want to secure that area really good, because this is the part where it would be easy for the hair to come out. So you want to secure it. Go over that 2 or 3 times. She has the perfect head for a sew-in or any type of style. I love doing her hair because it doesn't take her long, and she's perfect for that. And she's not tender-headed at all. So I like doing her hair. So
I can't wait till I see it.
Here's the next one. Pass me the other one. Here you go. Oh. So it's good to have 2 threads and 2 needles. And then what happens if you lose one? You could buy 3. You know, so just make sure you keep some a decent amount of threads and needles. You don't have to have the client help you. I mean, if they're paying $150, $50, $60, they're paying and they can't help you, they don't have to help you. I'm just saying, like, you know, like right now, I'm just kind of, you know, somebody I know, I'm doing his hair, we're cool, you know. Hey, some clients will offer to thread the needle. They'll offer. They'll say, well, can I help? Because a lot of people want to get out of there. You could just ask them and see what they say. Because some people can't see. They're not lying. They'll be like, well, I can't see that good. That's why I can't do it. Don't just say, oh, the person's lying. Maybe they really can't see. Because if they could see, maybe they could do it themselves.
Yeah, baby.
Some people are ex-stylists and stuff, you know, you never know. Or I left my glasses at home. So, you know, but it's okay to ask, you know, there's nothing wrong with asking somebody for a little help. So, because time is very of the essence. Always time is of the essence. So, now that I see how it's locked down, where it ain't going nowhere, I can't pull the track off or nothing. I'm going to re-secure it one more time. I'm going to go over it 2 more times. I'm going to start my next needle where I ended my last needle. Now, if I don't have that much, I don't know how long this video could be. I may have to come back and show y'all the closure part and just, but this is how I do the beginning part. Then I'm come back and do a second part too for the closure. Cause see, I used to have a better phone, but right now I don't have the type of technology to do the type of videos I really want to give y'all that I was doing before on my old YouTube. The reason I can't, I was hacked out of my old YouTube and my phone was stolen. I just was going through it, y'all. But you know what? At the end of the dark tunnel is a silver lining, and at the end of a rainbow is a pot of gold. So we just gonna think happy thoughts, you know. Try not to be negative, you know, and things may get better. So now that I'm going to the next area of her head, I'm doing the same thing. Secure the needle. Try to pull it as the thread. You can pull it as tight as you want to. There's nothing, you know, stopping you from doing that. Now, because I knotted that down, I could cut that little piece. I knotted that down.
You gonna put a little black to it?
But you just go over when you're jumping from braid to braid and the braid has like a little gap because you have it braided in 2 ponytails, you want to make sure you lock that down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew to her other edge, and then that's when I'm going to cut the track, and I'm going to start just going back and forth, back and forth. And then once I get like right to the, past her apex, which is the bone right here. Once I get right here to like her crown kind of area like that, right here, almost where the closure goes, that's when I'm going to probably sew the closure on to kind of see, you know, how that's going to fall and stuff. Because you have to sew these 2 first tracks before you put the closure on. That's all I'm saying. You got to put those tracks on there. Okay, turn to the side for me.
Okay.
Please. Thank you. So I'm still doing the same thing. Just latching it in, locking it down. And just pull it as tight, the strings as tight as you can. That's why you don't want the braids to be too tight. Because if you pull the strings real tight and then you got the tight braids, you've been pulling somebody's edges out, you know. You want it tight but not extremely tight. Because I can braid extremely tight if I want to. I just, like I said, I'm not trying to pull your hair out, you know. And it's already going to be a pain. It's already just a painful experience in itself. When you may not feel it now, but when it's done, it hurts a little bit. It's just like any other braids. It's a little bit painful. Most people say that they don't feel it until I'm done. That's what they like about me. They don't feel nothing until I'm done. When I get done, that's when the pain usually kicks in. They're like, oh my God. And I recommend, you know, just go home and wash it and get under water. Uh-oh, sorry. So be careful about poking people too. Turn to the side. Watch. Have a good light so you can see what you're doing. I got a light facing her though. I wasn't looking away or something. I don't know. My bad. Sorry. Everybody makes mistakes. No one's perfect. And when you do put the needle in, you don't want to never just dive into too hard, because if you poke somebody, she's not bleeding or nothing. You don't want to make them bleed. You want to just it be a little poke and that's it. She's not bleeding, so it must have been a little poke. You see what I'm saying? That you don't want to dive in someone's scalp too hard, because people lie too. People have diseases and stuff. And you dive into their scalp too hard, you're gonna hurt your own. End up hurting your own self. Turn to the side, someone for me. Okay. Yeah, I may have to break this down into two videos, because like I say, they only allow me to have so much time on here, and I don't know how to. This phone is not the iPhone anymore. I don't have an iPhone no more, so I can't. I didn't download any apps to speed up videos and stuff. The iPhone, they have apps and stuff. Certain apps don't work on like the little rinky dink phone. You know, it's a decent phone though. It's actually pretty decent. So, but I'm just saying it's not an iPhone, but it's decent. It has a good picture quality and stuff. Nowadays, most phones have good cameras at least. You know, so there. That's the first track. Then what I'm gonna do is make sure I keep on going over and over that thread when I end it, to make sure that, like I said, you don't want the loose ends to come off. It's so easy if you don't know and you're starting and you're learning for those loose ends to come off. For her length, what I'm going to do, instead of keep going around with this track, since this is the lengthy part, I'm just going to kind of zigzag this on the bottom. So y'all might can't see that part, because like I said, I might have to make 2 videos, but at least y'all saw that. And then I'll make the last video of me putting the closure on, because it's going to be kind of hard. When I put the part 2 on here, I don't know how much time I'm allowed to have. They gave me more time because I do intricate stuff, but I don't know how much extra time I'm allowed. Because I used to only have like 15 minutes, but I asked them for more time and they did give it to me. So let y'all see how the front is looking so far. This is the end of this video, and like I said, I'm going to take this same track and I'm just going to kind of zigzag, have the tracks going across now for length, because this is her length. She wants length, so I'm going to keep the hair in the back. If I keep putting the hair to the front, it takes away from her length, because in the front she may want to cut a bang or something, so you put most of this in the rest of this in the back. I already put a little bit in the front. Okay, so let me show you the front of her hair, the top part of her hair, because I don't know how much time they're going to give me. I normally don't do over 30 minutes because I don't know. They gave me extra time, but not that much. See how the tracks are coming from the edge, and the part is like right here where my finger is. So that's where the closure will lay, right here. So when I get right here, since the closure is so long, they have it made so long, when I get right here, I'm just going to kind of stop and sew her closure down. I'm going to come back and show y'all that part. And I'm going to show y'all how I laid the tracks. But that's part 1. Hopefully I helped somebody. Please comment and subscribe. Thank y'all.